Okay, let's be real. You've been there, right? Standing in the coffee aisle, just staring at this wall of bags. You see words like Brazil, Ethiopia, Colombia, and you kind of know they're different, but like how? Well, today we're going to decode all of that. We're diving into the world's biggest coffee origins to help you finally find the perfect bean for your cup.
So this all starts with a question I am sure every single one of us has asked before. Where do you even begin? It is the classic coffee drinker's dilemma.
And look, this isn't just some made-up problem. This is a real question from a real person on Reddit. They know exactly what they like, a medium dark roast, served black. But that one big question mark is the origin. It's the perfect example of the confusion we're all trying to navigate.
So yeah, Brazil, Ethiopia, or Colombia. Have you ever felt this way? You're ready to branch out, try something new, but you're faced with these three giants of the coffee world, and it's just overwhelming. Each one promises a totally different experience, but what does that actually mean for the taste in your mug? To figure this out, let's try something. Let's stop thinking about them as just countries on a map. Instead, let's meet them as characters. The three undisputed titans of the coffee world, each with its own vibe, its own personality. First up, coming from the world's biggest coffee producer, we have Brazil. Now, if Brazil were a person at a party, it would be the crowd pleaser. This is your smooth, reliable, comforting cup of coffee. It's all about those classic, rich flavors that feel like a warm hug. Chocolate, nuts, caramel. It's the dependable friend of the coffee world. Okay, next we're going to jump over to the actual birthplace of Arabica coffee, Ethiopia. This is the trailblazer. Ethiopian coffee is adventurous, it's complex, it's super aromatic. It's famous for these bright, vibrant, fruity, and floral profiles that can completely change what you think coffee can taste like. This is the innovator, always pushing the boundaries. And finally, we have Colombia, the all-rounder. This is the versatile champion that just seems to do everything incredibly well. Because it has so many different growing regions, Colombian coffee can offer a massive range of flavors, but it's really known for being perfectly balanced, super clean, and complex.
So we've met our titans, but how do those personalities actually translate into the cup? Well, it's time to put them head-to-head in the great flavor debate and break down exactly what sets them apart.
And this table right here, this is where it all clicks. Just look at the flavors. Brazil brings those deep, sweet notes of chocolate and nuts. Then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got Ethiopia with bright berries and floral notes. And right there in the middle, Colombia, mixing that caramel richness with fruity highlights. You see the same thing with acidity and body. Brazil is low acid and creamy. Ethiopia is high acid and light, almost like tea. And Colombia, perfectly balanced. This is why your brew method matters so much. That rich body from Brazil is amazing for espresso, while the delicate notes of an Ethiopian coffee just sing in a pour-over.
To make this even simpler, let's just focus on the two extremes for a second. Ethiopia versus Brazil. If you're trying to figure out your preference, this is the easiest place to start. Are you chasing a bright, lively aromatic cup that tastes like berries? Go for Ethiopia. Or do you crave a smooth, rich, sweet cup that tastes like a chocolate bar? Then Brazil is your answer. Seriously, just choosing between these two will tell you so much about what you like in a coffee.
But hold on, origin isn't the whole story. There's another huge factor that shapes the final flavor in your cup. It's like a secret weapon that producers use to dial in specific tastes, and that is the processing method. So what on earth is processing? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's just what happens to the coffee cherry right after it's picked from the tree. See, before we can roast the bean inside, we have to get that fruity layer off. And how a farmer chooses to do that has a massive impact on whether the final cup is clean and crisp or sweet and fruity. The two main ways to do this are the washed process and the natural process. With washed, the fruit is completely scrubbed off before the bean is dried. This gives you a really clean, bright flavor that lets the bean's origin shine through. It's super common in Colombia. The natural process is the exact opposite. The whole coffee cherry is left to dry in the sun, letting all those fruit sugars soak into the bean. And that creates a much sweeter, fruitier, and heavier coffee, a method you'll often see in Brazil and Ethiopia. Okay, we've met the titans, and we've learned their secret weapon. So now for the most important part, let's bring all this info together and help you find your perfect match. All right, let's make this easy. You should reach for a bag of Brazilian coffee if you love those classic, comforting flavors. If you want something with low acidity that's just incredibly smooth, this is for you. And if you're making espresso or adding milk to your coffee, Brazil is almost always a fantastic choice. It's the ultimate, reliable, everyday brew.
On the other hand, you should pick Ethiopia if you're feeling a bit more adventurous. If the idea of a coffee that tastes like blueberries or smells like jasmine flowers gets you excited, this is your origin. It's for anyone who enjoys a vibrant, almost tea-like lightness and brews with methods like a pour-over that really highlight those delicate notes.
So what about Colombia? Well, you should choose Colombia if you don't want to choose. If you want the best of both worlds, that comforting sweetness of caramel mixed with a little bit of bright fruitiness, then this is your perfect match. Its signature is balance and versatility, which makes it an incredible all-arounder that works beautifully no matter how you decide to brew it.
So there you have it. The crowd pleaser, the trailblazer, and the all-rounder. You now have the map. You can walk into that coffee aisle with confidence. So the only question left is, now that you've met the titans, which one are you going to try next?